Thanks for staying with us here on TVC Breakfast. It's not time for us to look at what the papers are reporting this morning. It's Easter Monday. People are home, but still they want to catch a glimpse or be abreast of what is going on in Nigeria. Well, so I'll be doing this with my...
We've left you behind. How do you feel? This debate, who wins the debate now?
Okay, let's see. But we are still on the same table anyway, and we share the same cups. Right, so let's see. The Nation newspaper has it with the first story. Plateau Benue killings. State police back on the front burner. Issue may return to NEC, that's NEC agenda this week. Senators developing legal framework. So let's start off with that, Veronica. So I know that we've been talking about the killings, not just in Plateau State, in Benue State, in other states, you know, across the nation. We've been talking about the issue of state police, advocacy for it, but others are saying that why should we have state police which the government or governors might probably use to their own advantage against their detractors?
Well, as it stands now, we have a situation on our hands, and what we need is a solution. So if state policing is a solution that will address some of the issues, at least to an extent, then it's fine. Let's adopt it. At some point, I think that was last year, we saw that almost all the governors were on all fours with regards to the matter of state policing. Yeah. And that conversation was even, we're seeing progress being made with that conversation. But there similarly is a lull with regards to how we move from there. I think that it's a matter of urgency. And right now, we need to address this issue head on, even if we are looking at community policing and all. Yes, we've talked about financing, who does the financing, but a structure must be put in place. We hear now that the legislators are working on it, but a structure must be put in place wherein we understand who does what, financing, and then the roles and the layers of security apparatus in each state and how they relate, so that nobody is coming against the other person and we will not be seeing certain issues that we do not want. So it has to be clearly spelled out so that we can make progress as it is.
That's right. So Ria, if you look at it, I'm wondering, so regardless of all of the fears that people have expressed. If you look at the governors, some governors actually agree to it, most especially the southwestern governors, they agreed to it. And the State House of Assemblies, they also, said one thing or the other. Should we begin to look at what obtains in the US, where we have state policing but federal oversight?
I would totally agree with that. And I will say that anything that would help to make these killings not as much as they are, or even eradicate them, is what we're looking for. So if the state police will work on that, then I feel like it's long overdue, because we've been discussing about it a long time. Now, if you look at what happened on Good Friday, people were going to church to pray, and they were killed. They had a totally bad Friday. And when you hear things like this, you're just sad, and you want action to be taken. So if this is the remedy, I am wondering why we're still halting. And it's so sad to find out that, and I was telling you just before we went on set, they're saying that in the meeting they're about to have, it's not part of it. And I'm wondering, why is it not part of it? So what measures are they now taking to crop out this insecurity? Because we talk about it every day, but we wake up one morning, more lives are lost. We wake up, 10 people are gone, 20 people, 30 people are gone. Something needs to be done.
However, if you ask the administration, they'll say they're doing a whole lot, if you want to make comparison. But then, whether it is one person that is dead or just even a goat,
even zero life counts.
One death too many. Well, so we're still on the front page of the Nation newspaper. Tinubu, Chiani meet soon over Niger ties. Tuga signs agreement with Nigerian counterparts. Above the masthead, Ponzi scheme influencers risk imprisonment. Sanctions await bloggers. I hope for those who have lost their money, what they want to see is not just influencers being imprisoned, but they influence you, you entered. I don't know, why should you be punished for being an influencer?
I tell people that even as an influencer, there are some kind of things that you influence, and even if you want to, you need to be sure. Because we have people that have a lot of social media presence, and when they tell you to do this thing, you want to do it. Now, those people, they do, and I'm not going to call names, because if I call names now, it will be sad. But we have some influencers that they know that this thing may go down the drain, but they are paying them a lot of money, so they want to take charge and do it, and it happens, and they're like, oh, we do not know. And I feel like that is very very bad. So if you have influenced something, and because of you, people have gone to invest in the thing, you should be arrested because you have power. Like, there are so many people that will tell you buy this thing. I know somebody, an influencer, you're lucky I will mention your name. When he tells somebody to buy something, they will buy it. So if that kind of person you have gone to now advertise something, you should be locked. You should be the #1 person in the cell even. I agree with that.
Okay, so as an influencer, I feel that your reputation should precede whatever decision you want to take. So I believe that you should do your research and ensure that you get to the root of whatever it is, because you know how much influence you wield. If you are influencing for the purpose of just collecting monies and enriching yourself, well, posterity will hunt you down one day. You do not know if it is your family member that will be a victim of whatever it is you influenced. And then why are you doing that job in the first place? It means that you are selfish. It's all about your selfish interest and not about the people who trust and believe in you. It's unfortunate, and I'm hoping that there'll be some regulation with this kind of thing and that they follow through with this decision.
That's right. Let's move on to the Guardian newspaper. We have despair in Benue, Plateau as killings hit over 284 in 3 months. High cost, others cut 62% of internet access in Nigeria. Others. Then we have it below the nameplate. Baba Ahmed says no Nigerian can be president without the North. Interesting times. US gives notice to quit to international students with cancelled visa. ACF blames Nigeria's woes on corruption, nepotism, bad leadership. So let's start off from okay, we talked about death, but if you look at the infographics in front of the Guardian newspaper, you see it's been the killings been distributed. What we experience we have Boko Haram in places like Borno. We have herders farmers conflict in states like Taraba, Benue, Plateau. But some states are not essentially, marked here. We have Kebbi, Sokoto, we have Kogi, we have Delta. Are there some things that they are doing that is quite different from what others are doing, in order to, not that they are not having their own, skirmishes, their own problems. Veronica, looks like, but there's relative peace in those places.
Let's look at, the truth is that perhaps some of the activities are underreported. Over the weekend, I was seeing stories of security issues in Kwara State. We even reported that. So it's not that there are no challenges. So perhaps each state have been able to put in measures in place. Let's take Lagos State, for instance. They have been able to put measures in place to addressing the security challenges that they are facing. So you understand the peculiarities of your state. You decide to, I put measures in place that can address it because I'm looking at investment, I'm looking at generating internal revenue, I'm looking at so many issues, and I'm looking at how to approach it. I think that what states can do, unfortunately for some states, because of the border we have with other countries, they are not able to put in some measures. They don't have the capacity to put in some measures to addressing these security challenges. And there's been so much infiltration from outside the country and then activities of these persons. And then you also look at landmass. How are you, in some northern states, the landmass is huge. And so there are several ungoverned spaces. So all of these issues also contribute to the kind of security challenges that some of these states are facing as it is. So there's a lot for the state governments to do.
That's right. Ria, if you see this story, US gives quit notice or notice to quit to international students with cancelled visas. Some students are beginning to wake up to see that, yes, their visas have been cancelled. Some of them, running their PhD, some of them even in their final, years, for them to round off their programs and all of that. So what do you make of this? Trump seems to be kicking everyone. In fact, I saw a story of an American that was safely stashed somewhere. That's, quote unquote, meaning that she was in prison as an immigrant, but she's a citizen.
The thing I always say, when you are a bully, you can just get up and say anything and you feel it will run. But then again, my question is, was he the one that canceled their visas, or their visas are canceled and they were studying? That's what we need to find out. Because if you have a running visa and it's canceled, then that's a problem. So I just hope he's not, he's not being that of a bully to do that.
All right, so this Nigeria, insecurity, treat killer headsmen as terrorists. Ex-Senate President Mark charges federal government laments incessant attacks on Benue, Plateau communities, northern senators to terrorists. Stop evil acts. Senate working on legal framework for state police, says Bamidele, majority leader. Easter, FCT minister calls for love of one another, administration bridging gap in urban-rural areas. NDLEA intercepts cocaine hidden in Saudi-bound religious books. Recovers 563 kg skunk. Others in Bielsa warehouse arrest 4. You can imagine the kind of things that people do when it comes to trafficking drugs, trafficking.
And I guess that's why Saudi put that law at that point where they were saying that, you know, they want to, how am I going to put it? They wanted not a lot of people. Yeah. They wanted to look at the people that are going because of things like this. And you wonder, how will religious people now do this, which is really scary. But I want to pick up on the Plateau thing you were talking about in Benue, because I know that David Mack had said that, you know, some of the things that were happening are not just natural. These are people planning the things. But my question is, we keep saying that people are orchestrating these things, but at what point are we now going to start figuring out who these people are and dealing with them? You know, and T.Y. Danjuma was also speaking about the fact that self-defense, when we talk about insecurity, we also need to say that it's not just the government, we also have to do something. But these are things that when you put on the table, how do we, you know, make it count?
Yeah, that's right. Nigerian News Direct is next. Nnamdi Kanu's family accuses federal government of smear campaign as trial looms, demands independent investigation. Fire breaks out at Gbagi Market in Ibadan. Millions lost in property damage. This is so sad. Some of them, some of these people, because I understand, I know someone from this market who said most of the people, not all of them, most of the people had 1 or 2 things to do with CBEX. Now having some of their goods destroyed after that's, you know, double tragedy, but we hope that something is done on their behalf. So, new NNPC Limited GCEO outlines ambitious goals to ramp up production, attract $60 billion. Okpawolo announces commencement of new infrastructure projects in Edo. Now let's move on to the next newspaper, which is the Platform Times. Exclusive, Ogun, Lagos, others get 224 billion naira in 2 months, still battle hunger, bad roads, others. Yeah, so we talk about true federalism, we talk about local government, you know, having access to federal allocation, and states now having triple of what they used to get as allocation, Veronica. But then there is still hunger in the land, bad roads, among others.
Don't forget that we have inflation also. And so no matter how you triple the allocation, the value of the money, talking about the naira, has dropped, whether we like it or not. So that factor also affects whatever it is government is doing. When you give me 1,000 naira, perhaps 2 years ago, and I'm able to do a lot of things, you give me perhaps 3,000 naira and I can only achieve something of 1,000 naira. Yeah. So let's also not forget that government has a lot on its plate. That's why they have budgeting to do what is needful and necessary per time. That's right. But would we still have matters of hunger and bad roads? Yes, they will. Because over the years, how have we planned with the resources we have to addressing these issues? And if we did not do the needful, successive governments, especially not addressing these issues the way they should, it will still remain with us. Right. So the next administration will have a lot on its plate. So whatever it tries to do, it may not be able to achieve so much because the previous administration and previous administrations did not do the needful as they should have. And so the results we are getting is that people are still hungry and there are bad roads. 2027
presidency. North will unveil position in 6 months. Police arrest soldier, accomplice over alleged car theft, armed robbery. Before we move to the next paper, if you look at a story on the nameplate, rear, So Safe Corps rescues 10 trafficked Ghanaians over fake jobs in Ogun State. So
why did you come to me for that news?
I just wanted to be concerned, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, so they are trafficked, you know, wrongly, because they promised them, this is something, not just people being arrested in Ogun State. I mean, in Nigeria, you find people wrongly trafficked to Libya for organ harvesting. So I think people should just wake up.
We've said this countless times, and we've said it on this table a lot of times, that you need to find out what you're coming to before you do it. Some deals may be so watery. And back in Ghana, when it comes to Nigeria, we always want to come, Alata, because we call Nigeria Alata. And we always want to come to...
What do you call it?
Alata.
What does that mean?
It's like a slang we call it in, Ghana.
It's like abroad.
Well, it's like abroad.
I feel good. It feels good.
But when you hear stories like that, at some point you need to be sure what you're doing. Like, what are you coming to do? Because it's sad to bring, people all the way from Ghana. You're putting them in harsh conditions. What are they doing? Are they even making enough money, or are you exploiting them? Yeah. We've said it the countless times. You don't need to be gullible. You need to be sure what you're coming for before you leave your country.
That's right. Let's move on to the Punch newspaper. Above the masthead, we have emergency. PDP governors get Supreme Court hearing date this week. Presidency pushes back as Bakare Kuka criticized Tinubu's policies. Killings. Shetima visits Plateau today as Danjuma calls for self-defense. State police off agenda as NEC meets Thursday. And Falana saying that judgment analysis report me to LPDC. Falana dares Wiki. But if you look at the main headline here, quite amazing headline saying that interest boom. 9 local banks generate 14 trillion naira from loans. How banks profited from lending in 12 months amid economic pressure. So you see on the front page of the Punch newspaper, this story actually packs a punch because banks are declaring profit, they're making a hell lot of money at the expense of whom? Their customers. And
the customers are crying under double-digit interest rates, and they are saying they are recording profit. And then some businesses cannot access these funds because only certain persons, when they look at the profits or the interest rate, they feel that this is too much for my business and I may not be able to pay back. So there's a challenge. Yes, you are making profit, but what's the toll it's taking on small and medium scale enterprises? Are they really beneficiaries of these loans from the banks? So it's sad that on the one hand, those who are to drive our economy are not necessarily profiting or making a kill out of perhaps getting loans from banks, but that it is banks that are making the profit. Because if the SMEs cannot drive their businesses, a lot of persons wouldn't have jobs. So yes, you're there to make profit, but then can you reduce your interest rate at least so that everybody can access this fund?
Just to add to it,
if you look at the interest rate, it's from like 15% to as high as close to 50%, interest rate. So how do you want SMEs to survive?
Exactly. And when you look at it, it's just in your face that it profits the bank and not the economy. And I feel like that is very selfish of some banks, because you see the amount of interest and you're wondering, like, how much is this? And that's why SMEs are suffering. A lot of young businesses right now are even scared to go to the bank to ask for loan, because when you see what you're going to put in as interest, what are you then going to save? I feel like it's a very selfish behavior, and if there's something I'll advocate for is that we need to reduce the interest. We should not only target only big companies to come and take loans so that you can, for your selfish reasons. So I really hammer on that one.
At the end of the day, it's even the buyer of the service that pays,
it's even worse when you send money and then you're charged. You're surcharged if it's above 10,000 naira. They deduct like 15 naira or thereabouts, and then you also pay VAT. It's so sad. Last paper that we have on the here to be reviewed is the Sporting Live. Liverpool chase Olaino. Reds want Nigerian to replace Alexander Arnold. Neville rules Ndidi's missed chance against Reds. Reviews how close Nigerian came to scoring after Alisson was beaten. Man United ready to splash 115 million pounds for Simons. Here, there you got what you're looking for. And Alexander Arnold moves Red closer to title. Veronica, what interests you right here? We have lots and lots of stories right on the front page of the Sporting Live. But it's good that we have Liverpool chase Olaino.
He's worth the chase. So if they can get him for their team, good for them. And it will also be a boost for his career as it is, because everybody will want to be on the winning track. Of course, you want to see yourself move to clubs that are relevant and a lot of people want to associate with. So it will be good for him at the end of the day.
Pay will be good too as well.
Definitely.
Well, that's about it for the papers this morning. We hope that we've been able to update you as regards what the papers have reported this morning. Do stay with us on TVC Breakfast. After the break, we'll